Hello friends, I am Alia Rahmani and I am here to tell you about the last day, the day of judgment, that is aakhira. So let's discuss about it. And I am sure that you will enjoy and be thankful to me after watching this. The judgment day. That is when death is one of the few undisputed facts of life, regardless of faith, race, status, or age. We will all die. While the certainty of death is universally accepted, the question of what happens afterwards has been debated throughout history. Islam teaches that one's life doesn't end on earth, rather it is followed by the eternal life of the hereafter. This pamphlet explains how this belief has a major impact on our earthly lives while instilling hope for healing in a perfect world where God's ultimate justice will prevail. Despite its inevitability, we get so absorbed in living that we forget about death. Our daily routines, the comfort of our homes, and our relationships keep us so busy that we have little time to ponder over the fleeting nature of the world. Then suddenly we are forced to face the reality of our existence. When a loved one is afflicted with a debilitating disease or we experience a shocking loss, helpless we are, jolted by the frailty of life, leading us to question our priorities and reevaluate our lifestyles. According to Islam, when confronted with a calamity, one should say, "To God we belong and to Him we shall return." Quran 2:156. This invocation is also recited when someone dies, reminding us of our origin and our ultimate destiny. It puts the purpose of our lives in perspective. God clearly states in the Quran the divinely revealed message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all humanity that He has created humankind to worship Him. Since worship is a comprehensive concept in Islam, consisting of specific rituals as well as general actions that promote good, it encourages people to conduct every aspect of their lives with God consciousness. Muslims believe they will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they die. Therefore, instead of the end, death becomes part of a continuum which stretches into eternity. Now, let's discuss what will happen beyond this life. Beyond this life, the hereafter. What happens after death? After all, the engine of death stumps up. We have devised various ways of killing other humans. Yet despite innumerable technological and medical advances, we still cannot prevent an individual from dying. Furthermore, unlike life which we experience daily, we really don't have first-hand knowledge of life after death. Aside from near-death incidents, no one has come back from the dead to tell us what they encountered. Due to their faith in one God, that is Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who created this universe and sustains it. Muslims rely on the divine guidance for glimpses of a reality invisible to human eyes. Divine guidance comprises prophetic examples and scriptures. Revelations. God sent prophets to guide humanity. such as Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Adam alayhi salam, Nuh alayhi salam, Abraham alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam. The final prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Moreover, he also revealed holy books including the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran. In keeping with the universal message of God, every prophet warned of the certainty of the afterlife, and each of the divine books speaks of the existence of the soul. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises every soul will taste death. Then to us will you be returned. 29:37. On the day of judgment, every individual will be resurrected to account for their lives. God describes this even in the Quran. On that day, people will come forward in separate groups to be shown their deeds. Whoever has done an atom's weight of good will see it, but whoever has done an atom's weight of an evil will see that. 99:6-8. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will weigh everyone's good and bad actions according to His mercy and His justice, forgiving many sins and multiplying the reward for many noble deeds. One who excels in goodness will be rewarded generously, but one who is evil and wrongs outweigh his virtues will be punished. Those who fulfill their purpose in life and live righteously will enter an eternal paradise of pure bliss. The people of heaven will reside in beautiful mansions, no longer suffering from fatigue, disease, and old age. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove animosity and pain from people's heart, providing supreme healing in a world of abundance and luxury of lush gardens and flowing rivers. In contrast, those who die in a state of transgression against God or oppress others will be led to hellfire. Despite all of God's blessing, they neglected their ultimate purpose of leading their lives in accordance with His will and guidance. The Quran describes hell as a place filled with immense suffering, with extreme temperatures, unquenchable thirst, and blazing. Truly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants each one of us to be salvaged in the afterlife. He has sent guidance and left signs for those who seek Him and reflect. At the same time, He has given us the choice to freely indulge in the world around us or to abide by His laws. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares, why should Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you suffer torment if you are thankful and believe in Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always reward gratitude, and He knows everything. And He knows everything. Paradise and hellfire. Paradise is the abode of eternal bliss, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for the pious people who have obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messengers. In it they will find all their hearts desire and their eye find delight. Whereas in the hellfire, awakening of His servants will be awakening of His servants' desire to be with one another in obeying Him, with one another and obeying Him, so that they will be admitted into paradise. Almighty says, raise each other to forgiveness from your Lord, and garden as wide as the heaven and the earth, prepared for the righteous. As for the hellfire, it is abode of eternal punishment, which Allah prepared for the unbelievers who have rejected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and disobeyed His messengers. In it, they will find all kinds of unimaginable, terrifying punishments that and suffering, even worse than that they have done. Warning his servants against the hellfire. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fear the fire whose fuel is people and stones made ready to the unbelievers, whose walls are made up of fire, and those who will ask for relief will be subjected to the bliss, will be subjected of spilling of hot water as hot oil. We ask you, Allah, O Allah, to admit us in your paradise and to assist in saying words and doing deeds that are bound to bring us closer to it. And we seek refuge with you from the hellfire and from words and deeds that are bound to bring us closer to it. So fear the judgment day, whose fire, and fear in doing bad deeds, whose fire will burn your soul and will heal you a lot. The greater plan, the day of judgment. Belief in the soul and the afterlife gives us context to our current existence. Those who focus only on the immediate life, miss out on the bigger picture. Indeed, they become heedless of their purpose in life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds humanity the life of this world is merely an amusement and a diversion. The true life is what? In the hereafter. If only they knew. Islam teaches that this life is simply a test to determine our place in the eternal life after death. Those who understand the reality ahead of them are aware that their ultimate fate after death is based on their action in this life. Such individuals are thankful for all the blessings that God has given to them and humbly worship Him while promoting goodness in all aspects of their lives. When a person embraces with such a God-conscious way of life, their purpose extends beyond merely enjoying worldly pleasures. Their life is on the submission to God and they seek a positively contributed to the world around them. All of their transactions with people, even animals and the environment, are rooted in the motivation. They are guided by the certainty that they will one day return to their Creator and be held accountable for their deeds. Although they have the freedom to live according to their whims, they limit their attachment to the brief and imperfect life, seeking an eternal paradise in the hereafter. Why should we believe in the scenario of Judgment Day as depicted in Quran? Believing in the soul and afterlife is foremost about having faith in the unseen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just as our souls are intangible, giving life to our physical bodies, the world we see around us. The world we see around us and is functioning based on an invisible system created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is ever watchful and all aware. Muslims believe that God is also just and He maintains a meticulous record of our deeds. We will be recompensed for our earthly lives in the hereafter, where ultimate justice prevails. Human natural seek justice in all the aspects of their life. When a person works, they expect when a person works, they expect to receive an appropriate salary. When an individual is harmed, they seek compensation. When someone helps another, they anticipate appreciation for their effort. Even though humans strive hard to establish justice, the reality is that this world will never be perfectly just. Many criminals go punishment unpunished, while the oppressed are denied basic rights. Do their lives simply dissolved without any accountability or fair dealing. God proclaims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proclaims in the Quran, do those who commit evil deeds really think that we will deal with them the same way as those who believe and do righteous things? Who believe and do righteous things, that they will be alike in the living and their dying? How badly they judge in the afterlife. The evildoers will not be able to escape the grip of justice, and victims of worldly suffering will be recompensed and for their pain. People who spend their lives responsibly, avoiding temptations to commit sins, will also be rewarded. As mentioned in the Quran, God created the heavens and the earth for a true purpose, to reward each soul according to its deeds. They will not be wronged. According to Islam, one of the great injustices humans can commit is to deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence, add partners to Him, or worship at worldly idols or materialistic goals. Islam teaches that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, sustainer and nourisher of every being in the heaven and earth as His creation. It is His right that we worship and obey Him. He showers us with His blessing every day out of His love and mercy. Worshipping Him is an expression of gratitude to God, and ignoring Him or worshipping others is ungratefulness and a denial of His blessings. If our man-made judicial systems punish for committing injustice against people, it is even more understandable that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would punish those who deny Him His rights and commit injustices. His creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, we shall set up scales of justice for the day of judgment, so that not a soul will be dealt with unjustly in the least, and if there be no more than the weight of a mustard seed, will bring it to our account, and enough are we to take account. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. As imperfect beings, we often make mistakes and commit wrong actions, while God does not expect perfection from us. He calls on us to strive to the utmost to worship Him and to live righteously. Of His mercy, God pardons whom He wills in the hereafter. God promises us in the Quran, and those who believe and do righteous deeds, we will surely remove from them their misdeeds, and will surely reward them according to the best of what they used to do. Muslims seek salvation in the hereafter by living a good, conscious and virtuous life in the world. In this world, the fear of accountability in the hereafter, along with the hope in the promise of God's ultimate justice. The fear motivates them to orient their present lives around the comprehensive worship of God the true purpose of human existence. In this way, they endeavor in this temporary life for eternal joy. To the righteous will be said, O reassured soul, return to your Lord. Return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing, and enter among my righteous servants and enter my paradise. So, my basic theory about for preparing this video is to aware you about your good and bad deeds. Please do good deeds. And I have some tips for you. For men, they should not keep any eye on another woman and perform their daily namaz. Perform their daily namaz and do the 5 pillars of Islam, that is Roza, namaz, that is Tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then fasting, Roza, then performing namaz, then zakat, giving people, poor people, they are sharing, and then at last, if you could perform, if you can afford, do Hajj, Ibadatullah. And for women, I would suggest the same thing. Perform your namaz daily. Perform your namaz daily and do not show your skin and hair to any other man except these 5: your husband, your son, your son, your brother, your father, your father-in-law. And do not say lie, and do not cheat anyone, and do good deeds so that, and prevent doing bad deeds, and please be safe from the hell fire. I want you all to meet at the heaven, and I believe that I could. Please share this message, because I don't want anyone to live in the hellfire. Please do whatever you could, do good deeds as far as possible, as early as possible. And I believe that you will have learned that you should now what you have to do. So, best of luck for the judgment. Thank you.